The Black Sea, with its scenic coastline, a treasure trove of natural beauty. The Black Sea stands at the crossroads of Eastern Europe and Western Asia, surrounded by 6 countries: Turkey, Russia, Ukraine, Georgia, Romania, and Bulgaria. The coastal region is rich in crops and seafood. This area is marked by tensions and contrasts, a rich history, time-honored traditions, and today, a new sense of optimism. The only EU countries that border the Black Sea are Bulgaria and Romania. These 2 countries share a coastline that runs for 550 kilometers, an area filled with beautiful scenery that's mostly unknown to outsiders. The sun shines 300 days a year. Bulgaria's north coast is particularly attractive, and the seawater is unusually clean. In the 1930s, the Queen of Romania even had a palace built here, near the town of Balcic. A botanical garden was created on the site in 1940. Today, the Bay of Cagliacra is home to a speciality that thrives in clean water. The mussels that are harvested here are said to be the Black Sea's best. Here, just off the village of Dalboka, Galin Dimov harvests 1 ton of shellfish every day.
Our mussel farm is unique because it's stationary. All the rest are floating farms. The mussels have just spawned, and that's when they taste the best. The meat is very juicy.
The mussel farm covers 2,500 square meters and is made from steel pipes. The nets in which the mussels grow are attached to thousands of ropes. The structure was set up here 15 years ago. It's designed to withstand major storms. The mussels grow in mesh sleeves called socks. They reach a length of about 5 centimeters after 2 years. Then they're ready to be harvested. First, the mussels are cleaned in this specially built machine.
I fill up the drum and turn on the water. The drum turns round and round. That cleans the shells and weeds out the smaller mussels.
Ani Vitanova, the chef at the Mussel Farm restaurant, is waiting for today's catch. She processes up to 2 tons of mussels every day.
Today there's a new item on the menu: mussels in aluminium foil.
Ani hopes that this dish will be popular with customers. 100 kilometers north on the Romanian side of the border lies the city of Constanța. This casino was shut down in 1990, a forlorn symbol of this once flourishing port city. Constanța's population is just under 300,000. It's the largest city on Romania's Black Sea coast and the country's oldest seaside resort. Constanța grew quickly in the 19th century, but has fallen on hard times in recent decades. The Old Town district is recovering slowly, But just a few streets away, there are pockets of prosperity. This is the estate of the Gigice family. The couple's only daughter is getting married, and it's the social event of the year. Some say that Dumitrela Gigice's wedding dress cost the equivalent of 15,000 euros. The celebration is due to last up to 14 hours.
My husband and I are both Romanian, and we love our culture. Our traditions are important to me, and I want to preserve them for the future. That's important to us.
Let's move on a little further. This villa belongs to the Tănase family. Dimci Tănase is the groom. He and his bride-to-be will be the centre of attention today. The party will last well into the evening, topped off by a gala dinner.
Everything turned out just the way we planned. I'm a little nervous, but it'll be fine. And we'll have a great wedding.
Tradition dictates that everything will be organised by family members.
Here come the witnesses. I'll turn you over to them.
Dimci's cousin Georgi is in charge of the ceremony.
Dimci's godfather will arrive soon to give him a traditional shave.
Georgi is getting the bride's car ready. It's a very special wedding gift.
You want this here?
That way a little.
Everyone will leave soon for the church.
These are two big families. And everyone gets along well, right down to the cousins. Everyone shows up for a wedding like this. They're all happy, and they want to share their joy.
Bulgaria has a population of 7 million and 330 kilometers of coastline. This is Bulgaria's largest Black Sea island, St. Ivan, with an area of just under 1 square kilometre. The closest town to the island is Sozopol. The holiday season is just beginning here, bringing new life to the historic Old Town district. It's time for some spring cleaning. Georgi Tumpalov is doing a bit of clean-up work himself. He is expecting visitors tomorrow. Georgi started building a castle here in 1996, a magnificent stone structure located on 20,000 square meters of land. He designed everything himself.
That's a statue of me. Everything's handmade.
A monument that will last 1,000 years.
This is one of my favorite places. Everyone likes to sit here and relax.
The castle was Georgi's childhood dream. Today, he'll have to clean the place from top to bottom, not just the driveway. Tomorrow is St. George's Day, a national holiday and Georgi's name day.
It's the biggest festival in Bulgaria. Everyone celebrates it.
They're expecting 300 guests. A big leg of lamb is marinating in the castle kitchen. The cooks are using Georgi's own recipe.
On the bottom, we've got potatoes, pepper, salt, garlic, and dill. We put the meat on top of that and add more salt.
Georgi has even built his own chapel. He can say prayers here on the eve of his name day.
I wanted it to look like a traditional rotunda. Everything is handmade. The icons were forged from brass. There's nothing like them anywhere in Bulgaria.
Georgi is a former professional wrestler. He came into some money after communism collapsed in Bulgaria in 1989. There are 20,000 tons of stone in this structure. All of it was brought in from nearby mountains. Georgi calls his castle "in love with the wind," because the breeze is always blowing here.
It's easier to smoke a cigar than to build a castle.
His latest achievement, a zoo. Complete with a waterfall.
I've added something new every year for the past 2 decades. I've been personally in charge of every part of this project.
The castle grounds are spotless now and ready for the festivities. Meanwhile, back in Constanța, the first wedding guests have arrived, the close family members. Dimci's godfather arrives to give him a traditional shave. It's meant to show that the groom is ready for marriage, physically and spiritually. It's time now for the first dance, a farewell to bachelorhood. There's going to be a lot of dancing at this wedding, well into the evening.
I feel great. This is pretty exciting.
Dimci's family love Western luxury and Romanian traditions. Now it's time to move to the bride's house for the first major event of the day. Dozens of guests have already arrived. Dumitrela's parents lead their daughter across the threshold. Both families made their money in agriculture and in other businesses. The bride-to-be is welcomed by the groom's family with a dance.
Everything's fine so far, and the weather's nice too. It must have been hard for the bride's parents to say goodbye to her.
This traditional dance, called the hora, is meant to demonstrate the guest's sense of community.
I don't know what to say.
The wedding is a status symbol for these wealthy families. They've closed off an entire street for the festivities. Now it's time to head over to the Orthodox church where the wedding ceremony will take place. We return to Romania's Danube Delta. The region is a wild natural paradise and home to more than 300 species of birds. This is where the river ends its 2,800-kilometer journey to the Black Sea. The delta is a maze of lakes, lagoons and marshes. Here, even the cows have to know how to swim. The delta is also famous for its wild horses. Several thousand of them live here. The Danube Delta covers about 4,000 square kilometers, but it's sparsely populated. This is the village of Letea. Local residents have captured and tamed some of the wild horses. Letea can only be reached by boat, and on land the horses are an important means of transportation. But many of them have not been treated properly by their owners. Once a month, a veterinarian comes to the village to check on the horses. This horse has been limping for several weeks. The vet, Stefan Railianu, treats the animals free of charge and shows the villagers how to care for the horses properly.
The problem is not that they've tamed the horses. Some of these horses are in bad shape, and the owners simply have to take better care of them.
Dr. Railianu pays his travel expenses and the cost of medicine for the horses out of his own pocket.
Let them run straight. Keep them on your right side. Great, that's enough.
It's tough to control the horses after they've been in the stable all day. We feed them old hay because the grass in the meadows isn't ready yet. And when they do eat grass, they don't gain weight. They actually lose weight.
He has a bad case of tendinitis. You can see it right here. He's become bow-legged.
It's clear that the owner has no idea how to care for a horse.
Be gentle with him.
The animal's hooves have been neglected for months. Dr. Railianu shows the owner how to treat this problem.
The horse can't walk properly. It's like wearing a shoe that's the wrong size. It chafes, and that spreads to the joints.
After the horse calms down a little, the vet will give him a shot of anti-inflammatory medicine. Dr. Railianu is now going to head off to a nearby village where a herd of wild horses has been spotted. He's about the only veterinarian who's come to this part of the delta. The wild horses have become a real problem for the local environment. The horse population has increased substantially in recent years. They feed on tree bark and some plants that are listed as endangered. The first horses were brought here 300 or 400 years ago to do farm work. When the farmers no longer needed the horses, they released them. They were the first ancestors of today's wild herds. There are more of them today than there were 30 years ago. Dr. Railianu usually doesn't see this many horses near the village.
When the big state farms collapsed after the end of communism, people just released the horses into the wild. Since then, they've been multiplying by leaps and bounds.
At one point, the authorities planned to shoot the wild horses, but Dr. Raileanu and other animal rights activists put a stop to that. Let's return to the mussel farm restaurant in Dalboca. The staff are getting ready for the lunchtime crowd. The restaurant can seat 300 guests. Today, Galin Dimov has already harvested 800 kilos of mussels and cleaned them in this special machine. These mussels have a wonderful aroma.
The Black Sea water is the key. There's more plankton and algae for the mussels to feed on. And that's where the aroma comes from.
As the mussels feed, they filter 100 litres of water every day. Clean water produces high-quality mussels. Dimov drops off his catch at the restaurant.
Beautiful, as always. Thank you.
Now Ani can try her new recipe, mussels baked in aluminium foil.
I start with lovage and diced parsley. Then I add olive oil, 300 grams of mussels, and some white wine.
Ani used to work as a hairdresser. When I turned 40, I switched to cooking. I started out with simple soups. Then I began working on more complicated dishes. And eventually, I ended up here, as a chef. The mussels in foil have to sit on this tray for 5 minutes. Then they're ready to serve.
There's not enough lemon on them. And don't forget the sauce.
10 women work in Ani's kitchen.
Add 2 more slices of lemon. Is the plate ready yet? They don't always follow orders, and sometimes we yell at each other. But when the boss is here, we keep our mouths shut.
The weather's not very pleasant today, and that's keeping the guests away. One of the few that are here orders mussels in foil.
Here you are, a brand new dish. Enjoy.
Ani is proud of her new creation. Meanwhile, the wedding in Constanța has fallen half an hour behind schedule. But that's okay, because the families have rented the church for the whole afternoon. The high point of an Eastern Orthodox wedding is the coronation of the bride and groom. The crown is passed back and forth 3 times in front of the couple. This symbolizes their commitment to each other and to God. The ceremony lasts 1 hour. The families have spent the equivalent of about 150,000 euros on this wedding. A large number of priests are taking part.
Please step forward. Kiss the Bible, and then kiss the crown. Once again.
The wedding festivities will last for 5 hours. There's a long way to go yet. The next major event will be a reception for the bride at the groom's home. The couple walk through the door under a special wreath that's supposed to bring good luck. Now let's return to the Danube Delta. This is the town of Sulina, population about 3,600. Until 1921, Sulina served as the headquarters of the European Commission of the Danube, which regulated traffic on the river. This is where the Danube ends its 2,800-kilometre-long journey through Europe. But even today, Sulina can only be reached by boat. There are no proper roads that lead to the town. Like most communities in the Delta region, Sulina suffers from high unemployment. A lot of buildings stand vacant. In the village of Letea, people are taking action to create new jobs in the tourism industry. They've started renovating houses. These measures are aimed, at least in part, at convincing young people to stay in the village. One new concept is horse-drawn carriages for tourists. Stefan Railianu, the veterinarian, came up with the idea.
Ivan, I almost didn't recognize you. The last time I saw you, you were just this big. Want to do a lap together?
But only healthy horses can pull the carriages, and the drivers have to be well trained.
It's tough to drive on sand. And the reins have to be the right length. Otherwise, the horses will get restless. In the past, horses were used for farm work. Now we're using them to pull tourist carriages. And while we're doing that, they have to show a little personality as well.
There are now 5 carriages in the village. That means 10 jobs for young people.
This is a really positive development. It's great. When I come to the village and see things like this, it gives me goosebumps.
Dr. Railianu spends the equivalent of 400 euros of his own money every month to travel around the Delta and treat the animals.
I've loved horses ever since I can remember. And back home, I have 25 of them.
He'll be back in a month. The doctor also does part-time construction work on projects around the Delta. 100 kilometers away in Constanța, the wedding festivities are still in full swing. The climax of tonight's wedding celebration. People have been celebrating now for 12 hours, and that includes a lot of traditional dancing. The bridal couple didn't make it to the big dinner. Now they're welcoming even more guests.
We're just getting started.
But we feel great anyway. We're even closer now that we're married. The music will start up again in just a minute. This is turning out just the way we planned.
The dancing continues for another 2 hours. This really is the wedding of the year in this city. This beach is located near the village of Vama Veche in southern Romania, near the border with Bulgaria. The area is popular with backpackers. You can camp right on the beach. Years ago, hippies used to hang out here. The beach is 2 kilometers long. It's summer now, and the area is chock full of party tourists. This is Mara. She's created her own little oasis in the middle of the village. She's cleaning house today, in her 1980s vintage trailer. She rescued it from the scrap heap. Mara lives in Vama Veche 6 months out of the year. She not only has her own trailer, she's got an entire village of them. Mara runs a trailer park that's located near the beach. There's room for 30 vehicles and 100 guests. Each trailer has a roof terrace and a small outdoor area. Each one is unique, and they're just 20 meters from the beach. The trailer park doesn't really have a name. People call it whatever they want.
All I can say is that this place is a little piece of heaven in a stressful world. You wouldn't expect to find a relaxing green area around here.
Benny. Bună dimineața.
O cafea?
O cafea, bineînțeles.
Benny stays here every year from May to September.
Mulțumesc. Ai început ziua ca de obicei?
Ca de obicei, răsărit, bolero.
He's an artist from Israel. He's known in these parts as Mr. Vama Veche. During the winter, he lives in a 120 square meter loft in Bucharest.
In Bucharest, it's just asphalt and concrete. You can have a big apartment, but you can't really relax there. But whenever I come back here, I find a sort of infinite peace.
Meanwhile, Bulgaria is celebrating an important national holiday, St. George's Day. It's also the name day for the lord of the castle, Gheorghe Tumpalov. In Bulgaria, your name day is more important than your birthday. This lamb will cook in the oven for 3 hours. That'll give Georgi time to greet all the people who'll be here to congratulate him.
In Bucharest, it's just asphalt and concrete. You can have a big apartment, but you can't really relax there. You have to put it in lengthwise, not crosswise, like this. Otherwise, it'll turn out all wrong.
300 people will be here to help Georgi celebrate his name day.
I not only own the castle, I do all the work around here. Everything from cooking to gardening. Use the big pans first, otherwise we'll run out.
These are some of Georgi's neighbors. A delegation of Romani people from the nearby village. Some of them worked on Georgi's castle project for 10 years, and he paid them very well.
I don't even have to invite them. They just show up at all my parties, and they're all Romani. I like that.
Congratulations on your name day. May you always be healthy and happy.
This isn't the only name day party today. There's another one in the Romani village, and Georgi picked up the tab. 100 Roma families live here, and Georgi will open the celebrations. He's sort of the uncrowned king of the Romani. People don't start eating and dancing until he shows up.
This is going to be a lot of fun.
Georgi grew up in a poor family. Early on, he started earning money as a wrestler. After the end of socialism in Bulgaria in 1989, he invested in construction companies and other businesses, as he says.
And now, our host and patron, Mr. Georgi Tumpalov. Georgi, thank you for everything you've done for us. Keep up the good work.
Georgi doesn't hang out with the rich and famous. He still has the common touch.
Love each other, stick together, and may God protect Bulgaria. To your health.
Georgi feels a certain kinship with the Romani. Their name day gift is a painting for Georgi's collection. Next year, he plans to open an art gallery. He'll hire the local Romani to build it.
The Romani are hardworking people. I like to show my appreciation for them, like throwing parties where everyone's invited. I want to show them that work is important in life, but they should have some fun, too.
The celebrations open with a traditional Bulgarian dance called the Choro, to honor Georgi on his name day. Meanwhile, the party at the castle is also underway. Georgi serves his guests only the best, roast lamb. The food is blessed by a priest.
It's been a wonderful day so far. You've got to do these things right. I'm expecting more people to come and visit tonight. We'll have lamb, drink together, and hug a lot.
And if things get loud, that's okay. In socialist times, the beaches of Bulgaria were popular with tourists from the Eastern Bloc. Places with attractive names like Sunny Beach and Golden Sands Beach. Today, there are more than 800 hotels on Sunny Beach alone, with room for a total of 200,000 tourists. The main attraction, as you might expect, is an 8-kilometre-long stretch of beach. Vacation season is slowly getting underway here. That means it's time for Tsvetelin Atanasov to go to work. He drives an old Soviet-built Volga sedan. Tsvetelin is a Black Sea institution.
I want your kiss, 'cause I just can't miss a good like child like you. Come on, be my little good like child. Are you sweet?
Sunny Beach is home to a man who is probably Bulgaria's best-known Elvis impersonator.
I do a show twice a week in that club over there.
Tsvetelin has been doing his act since 1986.
In the early days, it was really hard for me. My parents kept telling me that I shouldn't talk about Elvis at school. They thought I'd get into trouble. But it was kind of subversive for us kids to listen to Elvis recordings. And I had to be pretty brave to go on stage and do an Elvis act.
Socialism is long gone in Bulgaria, but Elvis is still going strong. Right now, Tsvetelin is getting ready for a warm-up show ahead of the summer season. His wife is also his manager. They're deciding which costumes he's going to wear.
I haven't worn that black outfit for a long time.
In the early days, it wasn't easy for Tsvetelin to find Elvis-style clothing, so he and his wife often made their own.
This time I'm gonna give it myself and put it in the right hand. She rolled upon return to sender.
Elvis impersonators are often ridiculed in the West. But in Bulgaria, Elvis, the one-time class enemy, is more popular than ever.
Thank you. Thank you so much. You too.
The first weeks of the season are hard work. Tsvetelin tours the beach every day to promote his upcoming show. After all, there are lots of other bands in this vacation resort. He does 3 performances every evening.
I've done shows in Cyprus, the Canary Islands, all over the world, even in America. But the people of Bulgaria appreciate me the most. They take me seriously, and I wouldn't trade that for anything.
I can hardly wait until the weekends arrive. Forget about my job and really come alive. I'm a rockin', yeah, I'm a rockin', yeah, I'm a rockin' and a rollin' round the jukebox Saturday night.
Meanwhile, on the beach near Varmavece, Romania, the pubs are open around the clock during the summer. And there's lots of live music. The bands can play as loud as they like, so for the next 3 months this area will be in an unofficial state of emergency. Except in Mara's trailer park, which is an oasis of peace and quiet.
Hi, I'm Mara. Is this your first time here? Okay, I'll show you around the campsite.
vă puteți orienta.
It costs €8 per person per night.
Încolo mergeți
This leads
către
to a beautiful hilltop. The Bulgarian border is just over there.
sens opus. Dacă
There are no
mergeți
rules
la
for the
Mama
guests.
Nascut pe ceva, oamenii în general sunt
All of them are well educated. They don't cause trouble. And they respect each other. The staff and the guests are like one big happy family.
ca o mare familie, aș putea spune.
We love the peace and quiet. You leave the city noise behind. It's a natural setting with the sun, the beach and the sea.
Căutăm natură, verdeață, apă mare, nisip și
Motor.
I'll introduce you to Benny. If you need help, just ask him.
Vine să cunoști niște clienți.
The trailer park is managed by the guests and former guests themselves. Mara and Benny both came here as first-time visitors.
25 de ani, cunoaște.
Când vreți. Da?
Welcome. Stop by anytime. I'm always around.
Mergem?
O să vă simțiți bine aici. O să vedeți.
Rulotă 21, rulotă mare.
The new guests plan to stay for 2 weeks.
Sper să vă simțiți bine, ne vedem pe aici.
While most of the tourists are partying on the beach, these guests have found a little piece of paradise here. It's got a certain 1970s charm. There are even communal showers. The group decides what to serve for meals. Everyone helps out, either by starting the fire, preparing the food or cooking it. Over the past decade, the trailer park has earned a solid reputation among travel insiders.
That's what makes us so special. We do everything together. We even write the shopping lists together. There's a great sense of community.
Să fie toată lumea mulțumită.
There aren't a lot of guests here right now, but the trailer park will be fully booked over the summer season. Today's featured dish is a Romanian stew with beef, cabbage and tomatoes. It's the perfect way for the newcomers to start their vacation.
Deci acum câți ani?
asta în 2011.
N-am
În
crezut
2011.
niciodată.
Mai fusesem în vamă de multe ori până atunci.
Neseba in southern Bulgaria is one of the most beautiful towns on the Black Sea coast. It's located on a small peninsula and is famous for its historic church buildings. At one time there were 40 of these structures. 10 of them are now protected by law. In 1983, Neseba made the list of UNESCO World Heritage Sites. These houses, with their wooden upper floors, are typical of the traditional local architecture. Meanwhile, Svetlin is doing his Elvis show at a nearby club. It'll soon be time for Svetlin to hit the stage.
No such number, no such zone, yeah.
It's his first show of the year at Sunny Beach. A sort of tune-up for the summer season. When Svetlin started doing this 36 years ago, he worked for free. Now he gets the equivalent of €100 per show. It won't make him rich, but he loves it.
Yeah, baby. Oh, yeah. Ah. Woo-hoo. Shake it, baby. Shake it, shake it. Woo. Oh, yeah.
I always get a bit rusty over the winter, so I can't wait to get out there. I feel like a boxer stepping into the ring for his first big fight. A boxer on stage, like Mike Tyson.
The fans here at the Neptune Bar can't wait for the show to start.
Yeah, baby. Thank you very much.
The performance lasts for an hour. In the coming months, Svetlin will do 100 of these shows.
I think I can do this for another 10 years. But to keep on performing, I have to get myself into top shape. Elvis himself went through some physical changes over the years. At first he was thinner, and then he gained weight.
Rock and roll, a subversive element that's still popular in Bulgaria and Romania, on the Black Sea coast, in the heart of Europe.